Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Well, last night we revealed the government's move to bring in Read's law early next year. Now today, the mother who has long campaigned for the law has welcomed plans to trial detection wands. And while the move is also being backed by Labor, not everyone thinks it's the right way to tackle knife crime.
Lorraine Ludwig has been living with immense grief since her son Read was killed in a random knife attack in Blackmans Bay in 2019, and having campaigned for tougher knife crime laws in Tasmania during that time, her efforts have paid off.
I'm feeling gratitude that finally, after 4 years of chipping away, that this common sense idea of non-invasive wands is going to be introduced.
From next month, police are set to trial the devices to help fine-tune Read's law in a bid to crack down on knife crime.
It's time for our community to act. It's time for our parliament to act and to say that enough is enough.
The government will then move to introduce the bill next year, giving officers more powers to search those they suspect are unlawfully possessing knives, going beyond legislation in Queensland.
They're non-invasive, they're non-threatening, they keep our officers safe, but they also protect the public and their dignity and privacy as well.
Authorities are backing the tougher approach to curbing knife incidents, which they say is on the rise. Just late yesterday, 2 youths were taken to hospital after alleged stabbing attacks in Rosny.
It certainly has a flow-on effect through the community, and we don't want people to think twice about going out.
But a recent Griffith University study on the Gold Coast found the wands weren't effective.
There is no evidence that you get a reduction in knife crime through the use of wanding powers.
Without prevention programs, harm reduction prevention programs, it's not going to make the changes that we need.
The police minister is confident the stronger stance will work.
They get the balance right with keeping the community safe.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
As the Tasmanian government backs down on the mandatory pre-commitment Pokey's card, another state has pulled ahead on the initiative. A cashless card scheme has been introduced in Victoria's parliament, with bet limits among other measures in a bid to address problem gambling. Independent Christy Johnston says the Rockcliffe's government's decision to defer progress on the card here was a missed opportunity.
It's absolutely achievable in the short term. We are doing it here in Tasmania in our casinos already. So it just needs to be implemented in our pubs and clubs, and certainly Victoria are leading the nation now.
Premier Rockcliffe says his government is still committed to harm reduction, confident other measures such as facial recognition technology can make a difference. The whistleblower behind a landmark Supreme Court ruling to compensate survivors of alleged abuse at the Ashley Youth Detention Centre is calling for its immediate closure. The Premier formally apologising to victims today, but some say that means nothing without a shutdown date in sight.
Damning words from one of Ashley's harshest critics.
I have sadly lost all faith in the Tasmanian government's promises and abilities to keep children safe.
$75 million is set to be paid out to 129 plaintiffs involved in Tasmania's first class action suit, a small step in what will be a lifetime of healing.
But none of the young people said how much. They were just absolutely overwhelmed at having been believed.
The former clinical practice consultant at Ashley now focusing her efforts on seeing the centre close before the year's out, as originally promised by former Premier Peter Gutwein, and for alleged perpetrators of the abuse to be held accountable.
We need a specific plan here. We need a specific date. The children of Tasmania need to be kept safe by our government.
The government had previously committed to implementing all the recommendations made by the Commission of Inquiry, but says building a safer therapeutic facility to replace Ashley will take time.
Significant improvements have been made to the Ashley site, but we acknowledge the hurt and the trauma and the pain of the victims of these horrendous crimes.
Jeremy Rockcliffe today reading a letter that he sent to victims after the court ruling.
I sincerely apologise for the abuse you suffered while you were in our care.
The apology is hollow if this government does not follow it up with action.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Concerns have been raised the federal government's move to allow salmon imports from Chile will impact the industry in Tasmania. During question time, independent Rebecca Pentland questioned whether the government was taking enough action to protect the state's local sector from biosecurity risks and possible job losses. Industry and Resources Minister Erica Betts taking aim at the Albanese government to block the imports of Chilean salmon.
I have in fact written to the federal member for Franklin, who happens to be the minister responsible in this area, asking her to back in her constituents and the hard workers.
In a statement, Fisheries Minister Julie Collins says she supports the local industry and the decision won't impact the local Tasmanian industry. Meanwhile, a proposal to install 50 open salmon net pens at Storm Bay has been slammed by environment groups. They say the expansion of Petuna's salmon farm will have devastating impacts on marine life. The Greens tabling a petition in the Upper House today, signed by 4,000 Tasmanians from Opossum Bay to the peninsula.
It represents the voices of thousands of Tasmanians who want to keep our wild waters free of salmon farming.
People are angry. We have not been consulted. We have not been told about these massive expansions.
The government says it will continue to back in the jobs created by the salmon industry. Hobart's property market is expected to continue to record moderate housing falls, according to a new report by SQM Research. While Melbourne and Sydney will likely record bigger falls of -5 to 1%, Hobart is predicted to dip to -3%.
We're not expecting any type of boom, neither are we expecting any type of bust for Hobart. We note that Tasmania's population growth rate has been slowing, but the economy is still performing reasonably well.
Contrast, Perth's housing market is expected to rise by 14 to 19% in 2025. SQM Research is also forecasting an interest rate cut of between 1/4 to 0.5% over the course of next year. Promoting homemade IPA is the focus of a new collaboration between a Tasmanian brewery and a trio of amateur beer producers. The red-coloured drink won this year's state home brew competition, and now they want to share the concoction with more people.
Raising a toast to locally crafted beers. Duquesne teaming up with home brewing group Happy Monks to mass produce an award-winning red IPA.
It's not the easiest beer to brew, to get the balances right between sweetness and malty and hoppy. This recipe we're really proud of.
The product recently won the 2024 Tasmanian Brewers Awards, a labour of love for the trio who met at church.
We were really trying hard to do well in this one, so it takes a bit of preparation, a bit of planning to have a good number of entries in.
Thanks to the partnership, the group can now spread their special brew to a wider audience. For Duquesne, it's a way of giving back and promoting other Tasmanian-produced beers.
I think in general, a lot of the innovation in brewing happens at that grassroots level, at the home brewing level. So yeah, I was really keen to showcase that.
With its ruby red collar, this IPA is described as having an aroma of pine, citrus and toffee, hoping to excite and intrigue the senses of beer enthusiasts. But at the end of the day, for Happy Monks, it's all about sharing a common passion.
There's plenty of good occasions to brew a great beer and share it in a garden with friends.
The red IPA will also be available at select venues across the states. Mark Zeta, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, Murph is back out on the road experiencing what you can see locally as part of Tourism Tasmania's Longer Days offering. Murph, where have you ended up this evening?
Yes, thank you very much, Kim. Here we are on the Leven River at Ulverston, Leven River Cruises. Lucky you've got me on the water, actually, because I've had a major phobia and fear of boats. But luckily that ship has sailed. Sailing this ship is Captain Kim. Hi, Captain Kim.
Hi, Peter. How are you today after all that? Getting you down here in the river will get you very relaxed.
I certainly will be relaxed. That's my middle name, Relaxed Murph. By the way, these cruises you've got, plenty of activities to be done. You can do bird watching, historical cruises and just a bit of a fun cruise as well.
Yes, we've got all those cruises, and we've got a shorter cruise, 2-hour cruise, picnic cruise, twilight cruise, all of those.
It's a beautiful little boat, and of course you don't have a large vessel here because of the fact that this waterway is quite tricky and you need a smaller vessel to navigate.
Yes, that's correct. So it's not a chartered river, quite tricky to navigate, yes.
So this holds around about 16 people, great for a party. Oh, depending on your sense of humour, that is, of course. And we look forward to spending a bit of time on the water here. It's a beautiful still day, and that's what it's like here all the time, isn't it?
Oh, pretty much so. And when it's not, it's just as good.
It'll be fantastic. Come and visit some of these places in Tasmania that you've never been to before. This is the Leven River Cruises. As we were telling you, you can do all sorts of cruises. Just relax and sit back and even have a game of cards if you want, Kim, as long as Captain Kim isn't standing on the deck. Back to you. We'll be with you with the weather later.
Captain Kim, I quite like the sound of that. Well, bus passengers are being warned of more mass disruptions amid rolling strikes across the state over the coming days. Metro workers will walk off the job in Burnie tomorrow morning before Launceston drivers step away from the wheel between 5 and 7 tomorrow night. Hobart services will be impacted by a double stop work action on Friday during peak travel periods. Metro is advising public transport users to seek alternative arrangements where possible. A long-serving police pup has been given a distinguished home base honour after hanging up his harness for the final time. The crime-fighting canine rounding out his farewell tour with a special reunion, marking the end of his decorated career.
From wagging his way through traffic operations to sniffing out trouble on the streets, Fang's trusty nose has been on the case.
The drugs that we've located over the years is, you couldn't even put a quantity on it.
Now, after 7 years helping fight crime, the veteran sniffer dog is calling time on his career. Awarded a Good Boys goodie bag for his service to the Tasmanian community.
He does like a bit of attention. He's very well behaved.
His farewell tour capped off with a reunion with his past handler.
He's very playful. He's obviously got the greys going now.
While he may have stolen the show, Fang wasn't the only one taking centre stage. His two-legged colleagues also recognised for their bravery and decades of dedication.
You learn something new every day. Certainly been a lot of achievements throughout the time.
For some, today's ceremony, a chance to reflect on the road to the force.
I always wanted to be a motorcycle policeman. I watched Chips as a young kid and that was my dream. So I joined Tasmania Police and eventually became a motorcycle policeman.
For Fang though, the hard work's over. It's time to put his paws up and enjoy some R&R.
Oh, Fang's enjoying laying around at home in the sun with our other dogs and just taking it easy.
And he has the opportunity now to just be a puppy and just dig some holes in his yard for a change.
Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
Legislation due to be debated in State Parliament this week will be critical to the University of Tasmania's efforts to secure funding for STEM facilities at Sandy Bay. UTAS is wanting to sell some of its land above Churchill Avenue to directly support investment in a new STEM campus.
What we'll see is the engagement of that part of Hobart in a really useful way and the settling of the university into Sandy Bay with a STEM centre that will be world leading. It's a win-win for everybody and good on the government for finding this way forward.
What it means for students is state-of-the-art facilities and that opportunity to connect with a STEM precinct that is modern in approach and modern in what it can deliver.
Once the legislation passes Parliament, UTAS is expected to apply for Commonwealth funding to help realise its dream. It has been a record year for Tasmania, holding our own in the National Hospitality Awards held in Brisbane last night. 7 venues were recognised, including for Overall Hotel of the Year and Best Tourism Initiative.
Shane has been diving in Tasmanian waters for the past 16 years. In 2016, he turned his passion into a business.
We came up with the idea, Tasmania Wild Seafood Adventures. Why export all the seafood when you can import the people to sample it at the freshest place?
Shane's hard work taking out top honours for Best Tourism Initiative for the 2nd year in a row. But he was at sea, unable to collect the award.
A lot of excitement and lots of cheers on the boat when we got the news.
Shane's company alongside some big players in Tasmania's hospitality industry. The Tasman capping off the Apple Isles Awards, winning Overall Hotel of the Year.
At the end of the day, hotels have beds and showers.
It is always only going to be the people within the building that provide that exceptional service.
The bar also winning the best hotel bar in the accommodation division, honouring the building's history as Australia's first private hospital, a key in its success.
We are very proud of, showcasing that building, but we also use it in our drinks.
Doing Tasmania proud on a national stage.
We're one team and we all move in the same direction together for the state.
We are very much like a family down here in Tasmania.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmanian News.
A school breakfast club is helping prove a full stomach is a key part of improving learning. A partnership between Variety and Aurora Energy helping more than 7,000 Tasmanian children access fresh, healthy food before class.
We know that there is 52% increase in students' attainment. We know that there is over 80% increase in concentration and spending time in the classroom.
It means that they start on a positive note, can grow, thrive and learn.
26 schools are currently utilising the program across the state. Some of our future leaders have been given the chance to sit down with current ones, putting some of the hard-hitting questions to Tasmania's politicians, like asking how a government functions.
I think the answers to the questions were really helpful and descriptive. They were very long, which is quite typical for a politician, I think.
What's really encouraging today is to see how many of these young people are across what's happening in politics.
The program is part of a $1 million funding initiative to support young people leaving school and help them train up for their future career.
The Hurricanes are in Sydney tonight preparing for their first elimination battle on the road to a maiden WBBL title. After guiding the Canes home against Perth to clinch a final spot, South African import Catherine Bryce is staying diplomatic. But the side's confident of dispatching the Thunder, having already done so in regular season.
It's a new game of cricket, and T20 cricket, a lot of different things can happen, so it's just kind of being prepared for anything that they throw at us.
We're confident that we can put our best game out there, and I think after that our best can definitely beat them.
The match might be played on the road, but you can still cheer them on. It'll be live on 7 Mate tomorrow, after the news of course. The Tigers bowlers will need to bring their A games tomorrow if they're to seal their first Shield win against New South Wales. Gabe Bell taking 4 wickets this morning. The Blues all out for 338, 27 runs shy of the target. Tim Ward is Tassie's best with a bat this afternoon, 78 not out at stumps. The Tigers lead by 252 runs. New South Wales still need to bat again on the final day. 2 Hurricanes have been snapped up at the IPL auction. Quick Nathan Ellis will swap Ricky Ponting's Punjab Kings for the Chennai Super Kings after selling for 366,000 Aussie dollars. Tim David going to RCB for just over $500,000. That's a third of what Mumbai paid for him 2 years ago, following the trend of lower prices this auction. Steve Smith was passed in, but 13-year-old schoolboy Vaibhav Suryavanashi went for $200,000 to become the youngest player in IPL history. He recently belted a 58-ball century against the Aussie under-19s. The Hobart Chargers have welcomed their first signings for the 2025 season. Skilled guard Shana Thompson rejoins the ranks. The 25-year-old power shooter is hoping to take on a different role in the side after spending the last 2 seasons interstate.
Now coming back home for the 2025 season, I'm going to be more of a leader with this group.
Seeing her go away for a couple of years and experience some different things and broaden her horizons a little bit, she's come back with a lot more maturity.
Dwayne Davey returns to the club for his 7th season as the women's head coach. And a huge win this afternoon from the Tassie Inclusion football side at the AFL Open Carnival in Brisbane, keeping South Australia scoreless for most of the grand final. Craig Blaschke, Kobe Arrowsmith and Blake Bonicha booting 2 goals each in the 56-6 win.
Don't tell me Bonicha has kicked that. That is just all class from Blake Bonicha.
Our wheelchair side also playing their Division 1 Grand Final this evening, but ending on the wrong side of the scoring, going down to Victoria Metro, 116-34. But still an incredible effort to make the decider, Kim, that's for sure.
Definitely that. Thank you, Nick. Well, Murph is on the road and he joins us after the break with the weather forecast.
And here we are back on dry land off the Leven River cruise in beautiful Ulverston. What a fantastic day we've had. And over the last 3 or 4 years, in fact, Leven River cruises have been winning a lot of tourism and also service awards. So good on you, Captain Kim. She's been doing a great job as we encourage Tasmanians to get out and about and have a look around our own backyard with the longer days of spring and summer ahead. But right now, let's look at the weather. And Hobart recorded 22 today, Launceston 29, Devonport 22 and Burnie 21 degrees. 29 the warmest, also at Bushy Park and Cressy. Lyawini and Grove recorded 25. It was 24 today at Strawn. King Island 23. Low Head and St Helens 22 degrees. We did have some cloud over the Bass Strait Islands today and parts of the north. Flinders Island had 3 millimetres of rain out of that today. Cloud with a low pressure zone is over the Bight and east and south Australia. Plenty still over the far north and down the east coast of the nation. Tomorrow the low moves to the west coast of Victoria with a front near our north, and the next high builds south of Western Australia. The winds tomorrow, southeasterly at 10 to 20 knots, but they will increase to 30 knots in the west by evening, so you have a strong wind warning there from southeast Cape to Stanley. Let's look at the forecast for tomorrow. Hobart, showers and a possible storm, 23 the top. Same for Geeveston, 25 the high for Bothwell. Similar weather over the north as well. Launceston 24, Devonport 19 and Cressy a high of 23 degrees. 19 for Burnie, Strawn 22 and Curry 21, all with the wet weather. And in the east, that forecast continues. St Helens and Orford 21 and Swansea 23. On to Thursday, nothing much changes. More showers and storms, but easing from the east and south. A cloudy 19 in Hobart on Friday with showers again for the rest of the state. And on Saturday, there doesn't seem to be a let-up either, with the wet weather sticking on into the weekend. Further north we go, and a sunny 28 degrees in Perth tomorrow. Showers for Adelaide and a storm heading for Melbourne. A sunny warm 34 in Sydney, a shower or two and 29 in Brisbane. And current conditions down by the Leven River here in Ulverston, 17.5 degrees, feels more like 25 with a light sea breeze blowing in. Remember, if you don't know where to go for a day, a weekend or a longer stay, get on the website discovertasmania.com.au/longer days. You'll see the message there, Kim. Eat, drink, stay, play. At the moment, one of them is well in front for me.
You are living your best life. Thank you, Murph. And that is all your news for now. Thanks for your company tonight. Good night, everyone.